Okay. So I'm just very relaxed when it comes to talking to people, so I just let it flow, you know.
And have some questions.
Yeah. But if you want to just start off introducing yourself, how you perceive yourself in this world, and like just kind of your mission statement.
My son, right? My thought on life is that, you know, we're here from creation, all of us.
Chinese Jamaican pops with his story.
Yeah. I'm glad to take it off, you know, because when me make a race, you know, my car that blow off the color, you know.
Hey, what a wicked man, eh? Hey, how you say so? Eh? You say
yeah. Hey, so you're lucky.
Stop that. J Flacco, me I give the people what they want. And not my fault. Tasha, big up. What you know about. So how you gonna learn that? Alright, repeat after me. Do you want to learn Hakka? Ni, Seong, Ho, Hakka, Wamao. Ni, Seong.
Hold up. Stop scrolling for a second. What if I told you that there is a country where people literally don't see race the way we do? Where a Chinese kid grows up calling themselves Jamaican without losing an ounce of their heritage. Where out of many, one people isn't just some feel-good slogan politicians throw around, but an actual living, breathing reality. You'll probably call it bullshit, right? Because in 2025, when we are still fighting about who belongs where, when identity politics has us all in separate corners throwing rhetorical punches, the idea that somewhere on this planet people figure out how to actually blend cultures without erasing them seems impossible. But here's the thing that's going to absolutely wreck your worldview today. Jamaica did it, and they did it so naturally, so effortlessly that it takes every other country's approach to multiculturalism look like amateur hour. I have videos, let us watch them, and then I'll be back.
You know, through the love of the Creator. And because of the energy, create matter. So that's how we come to evolve to be like this on Earth. But when you check in families, your bloodline and all that, and I'm not saying it don't matter, but it's more a spiritual thing now. You know, like maybe first time it used to matter where you come from or this or that. But for me right now, is accepting everyone as an energy, a spirit. So I don't put a label. So I don't label people from where they come from or what religion or anything. Just deal with them as, you know. But like, as for me, I just here for a time, just like all of us, we're on our journey. And growing up in Jamaica as a Chinese Jamaican was different because I found that I was more privileged than most of my friends. But I didn't know prejudice until I came to the United States. We just used to, you know, share everything and, you know, play with each other and stuff like that. But, you know, the older you get into the world, and then everybody split up. But for me, I just keep the connection with the memories, that the experience that we share with each other. And even if your matter is not here, the energy is still here, you know. So that's why, as an Earth family, we're all Earth people. So the Earth family is people who really love themselves, care about themselves, and just want to free up, you know, free up. And if everybody could live free, they wouldn't want sadness. For me, you can't say who right, who wrong. It's just either you choose happiness or you choose sadness. So like I say, it's not good or bad. It's either you choose to be happy or you
I don't mind you take off the color because, you know, me not save you all that money because come off anyway. Me not blow it off with my car.
Yes, sir, you used to have sound system back in it.
When you have my set, you know, me make Rasta man dance soca, you know.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Believe.
First Macintosh I had.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Believe. You tell me that Rasta man dance soca enough when they have to keep down. So they are not ordinary man. Believe.
And you're cussing. But no, cussing. So everybody that on the live there, I give me gift and I coulda cuss anybody? Okay. Grow up with the most Chinese at Kansas Spring. Me never reach Kansas Spring, so my parents' money them never did tall, so we did up on flat land, plains. We did up on the plains. No Kansas Spring. Okay. Bombat. I'm all on there. Alright. We're going to learn ni, you, ni.
Shiny man, talk again.
Big up.
I got the blood clean. I am born.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm from, man.
You born in Jamaica? So you have the accents lock plug to yourself.
But they're on the right people.
Oh, okay. So you like, don't you?
I'm a place there.
I am born.
Picture this: you are a kid, Chinese heritage, but you've never known anything other than Jamaica. You share your lunch, your games, your secrets with friends who look like nothing like you, everything like you at the same time. Rest, what's that? You're all just kids, just energy, just spirits, running around and living life. Now imagine growing up and realizing that in other places that pride themselves on being progressive, that kind of unity is not just rare, it's considered utopian fantasy. See, this is where we need to get real about what Jamaica actually achieved, because it's not some kumbaya fairy tale. It's a masterclass in what happens when a society chooses connection over division as its default setting. The Chinese community is in Jamaica, and let's be specific here because details matter. They didn't assimilate by erasing themselves. They didn't integrate by becoming less Chinese. They became Chinese Jamaican, and that hyphen, that little punctuation mark, carries the weight of an entirely different approach to identity. Because here's what pisses me off about how we discuss multiculturalism everywhere else in the world. We always frame it as zero-sum game. Either you preserve your culture or you integrate. Either you are authentically Jamaican, Kenyan, or you're truly American, British, Canadian, whatever. But Jamaica said, nah, to hell with that binary. They said you can be Chinese and Jamaican. You can run a Chinese restaurant that serves the most Jamaican clientele and nobody's confused about what's happening. And you know what the secret ingredient was? It wasn't even a policy. It wasn't some government integration program. It was spiritual recognition. And before you roll your eyes, please hear me out. They operate from this foundational belief that we are all energy, all spirits born from the same creative force, not in some new age crystals and chakras way, but in a deeply practical way that translates to, I see you as a human being first. Everything else is just details, but first you're a human being just like me. Think about how radical that is in a world where we live with labels. In most places you meet someone and your brain immediately starts categorizing black, white, Asian, Muslim, Christian, immigrant, native born. We've got so many file folders for everyone before we even learn their name. But in Jamaica, the default setting is different. The default is you're here, your family, your home. Let's figure out the rest as we go, right? And meanwhile, what we are doing in the developed world, America, Canada, UK, Australia, first world, we are having congressional hearings about whether saying happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas constitutes cultural genocide. Like, I don't know, man. We are debating whether a taco truck on every corner represents beautiful diversity or economic inversion. That's the crazy thing about America. We've made identity so precious, so fragile that we treat cultural exchange like it's cultural theft. God forbid someone learns a few phrases in another language, that's appropriation. God forbid someone adopts traditions from their neighbors, That's not authentic. You just copied us. You've copied us, that's ours. Jamaica looked at all these neuroses and said, y'all are exhausting. We're just going to share everything and call it Tuesday. But here's the crucial part that we can't romanticize. This didn't happen by accident. Jamaica's out of many, one people works perfectly fine because it's built on shared experiences, not shared ancestry. When the Chinese Jamaican talks about growing up prejudice-free, they are describing something most of us have never experienced, especially the black community in America. A childhood where difference wasn't treated as distance, where sharing your lunch with someone who looked different wasn't crossing cultural boundaries. It was just lunch, my people. It was just lunch. Imagine what that does to a developing mind. Imagine growing up where your sense of self isn't constantly being questioned. Not being told you're black, you don't belong here. Where you don't have to choose between honoring your grandparents and belonging to a community. Well, and then imagine the culture shock of discovering that in other places, people have been fighting wars over the very thing you took for granted. The radical idea that you can be fully yourself and fully belong, fully and truly. Now, I'm not saying Jamaica is perfect. No country is. They've got their own challenges, their own blind spots, their own work to do, but they've cracked something that most of us are struggling with. How do you create unity without demanding uniformity? It's really hard. The answer is deceptively simple. You focus on the spiritual connection, not the surface differences. You build an earth family mentality where caring about each other's happiness becomes more important than policing each other's authenticity. And this is why the Jamaican model should terrify every politician who has built their career on division, because it proves that culture wars, we are told, are inevitable, right? They are not. The idea that diversity equals conflict, that's BS. The notion that preserving heritage means rejecting integration, complete fabrication, it's not true. Jamaica proves that when you lead with love instead of fear, when you choose curiosity over suspicion, when you default to inclusion rather than exclusion, something beautiful happens. People don't have to choose between who they were and who they are becoming. It doesn't work out like that. So here is my challenge to you, the person who you're watching me right now. What if we stopped asking where are you from and started asking what energy do you bring here? Do you bring positive vibes? Let's go down with it. What if we stopped seeing hyphens in identities as confusion and started seeing them as completion? What if we took a page from Jamaica's playbook and realized that out of many, one people isn't just a motto, it is a choice we make every single day when we decide whether to see the human first or the label first. Because at the end of the day, we are all just energy, all just spirits, all just people trying to find happiness and freedom on this same small planet. The only question is, are we going to keep building walls between our differences, or are we going to start building bridges with our shared humanity? Jamaica already did that. They answered that question. The rest of us are still catching up. Thank you for watching.